Enslaved, it's just another thing that you're into. What if you can do something different? How would that sound to you? Could you hear me at all? Or is your hearing impaired? Is it in two or is it in pair? How would I find out for no refunds to be given for the wicked? Starve those by the wick, for the government for the weak. Wick, the kind of life for the gods, illumination for the darkness and Illuminati for the NATO, for the bring peace on earth like a mouse and took rest crops and crying the fields of patience. Pat nine devils for the shit and been repentant, for the repeated enough for the corporate food who didn't cooperate, for the real truth for the Yahweh used that for the third eye to realize and all the with the drums and clones and materialize for the shepherd, the clothing, the naked truth of the garden that dried the truth to find the rivers, the baptized that wash like determined for the washing you with the tide in detriment and determined enough for the faith for the infantry for the brainwashing sheep, fantasize belittling for the shepherds of that sham, that lamb, the valley for the death for the synth that cats, that Lucifer for the most Mars, Luciferians and Martians to clip those wings in the Mars, fly by in sweat, swat that for the moment for the Wall Street, occupy the American pies, diabetes for the biblical instructions. You can find that chapter for the chastisement and opposition for the wars of spirits. You can hear that battle cry for the Christ, to the crusader, for the crucified, for the standoff and the lies and capitalize those letters for the pride, for the Uncle Sam to the Sumerian tablets and 10 commandments and patriarchy for the art for the archives. Those who aren't concerned for the contractions, not for the longevity of the art, for the encourage that for the enterprise and charter track to find and enter their surplus or surplus of the serpent, or the oblivious for those who live with the obsolete souls, from the shoes for the soul, for the deep being deprived of the earth from and the energy for the marginalizing of the allies and relying. Lie low for the ants and the hills and the ant farms and the pharmaceuticals of the fat farm. Also symbols of the death jam, deaf comedy for the media, the medians, middle ground for the midnight to the makeover for the seas of the staff and Moses to the mountains and maintaining the handlines and marks and tally marks left behind those abusing relationships, sinking to the integrity, intelligence and agenda for the jilling oppressive value, irony for the icons that patched up at time for the pollination, the political for the ground backgrounds and backgrounds for the grievances, inevitably any evil doings, inability for the enable that senator or senators or that for the informer for the abnormal for the desert watcher to the benefit for the exactly example for the example for the amplified and the implication for the complete tectonic for the plates underground for the undergarments and the organizers genocide even though for the appetite for the vein and reliability for the realliance their pride and death for the parades and those who find the pole raised around our radical sunken relationship with the shield rise again for the opinions tears and cries to create that courage to rage against the machines and the defense in the campaign that hurt inside and spite that spite for the springs and river to dry that chalk outline to the dead bodies to sidewalk to the holograms scales to wait that coming into Christ anticipate for the constitute for the constant control the change refrain to immortalize note the words and transcribe scribble the scraps and rap scrapping by for the bystander for the standing by for the bipolar for the barely rate rash relief these turned over for the leftists and the leftovers and all the levels for the prize and insight for the inside the sliding and slides and that's to be slid enough for the tidy knitted for the noted to the notarized and arrive that for the rising Sabbath day for the insubordinate for the subordinate for the subject for the substitute for the submission and bliss and the intervention venting on the vengeance and Venus and next and nose and news to find the time and nosing enough for the privacy advocate for the vocation of vocalist and imitate that and limitation for the limelight for the lakeside for the lifeline obtuse and usual options and operating opera are opposing to the opposite for the opponent for the it must be upon the faith for the meeting defeat and metal meters are made in masquerade for the male masquerades mask that or who's to find those rights for the measurement for the manipulate the sooner enough for the murder to make her to meet to him missing play for the shaking of the quake for the fate to the fake to take for the opportunity to rake those leaves and rakes and snakes and sneaking instead of the with the lattes and lay inside the layers and layer early on later on the Ariel stepped out of that but it was all granola enough you can see it. Enslaved. those without the light. I've had from nothing to find all over again. I'm gonna let it shine that light for the temptation and no temporary attempts. And permanent voice fulfilled for that obliteration, for the holding on to the truth and the sense of your father, for the shaking, the purple off of the purpose and the pain, for the cut of that, to bring the new year like a prince. Destined to be the Phoenix and sun into the cloudy, beginning for the seeds of the millennial summer to pour out for privilege and poor. That which it makes a grand screen. For the other side, for the who's to blame, and that's for some devil, for the be anything for the not to do the actions. Observe for the consequences, for the righteous and straight facing to win that long and quickly dark cry, pop, cry, the digit for the number, the addition of numbers, and measures to remember to play for the winning numbers, the winning number. You were there for the cut that numbing of the enabling of superlative. Superstitious to cross over the prison with stitches and materials and narcissism. You need to repair the statues, trashes over the face value for the rubber and over against another wall, for the person traveling over the garden, over your food for thought, for not to be considered for the healthy lifestyle, the way to live until you die. Wait till your waistline to fit the suit for the suit for the lunar to fit the number. The revenge has no coordination with the fabrics in the life. Placed out of magazines and a consignment for the consumers and co-ops and scraps and patches for the walkway gown and dress down for the concepts for the teasing no press that whatever the shopping or whose imaginative minds justifiable who was shoplifting for the justice who knows who placed the 99% market for the Wall Street. Just another thing for the infant anthem for the heaven, the sin for the innocent payback for the reminiscent for the paybacks like a masseuse having pipe beam. Sending you battery even for her shit. I don't wanna do that. These shit's system up for everything. Just on a dirty out way, as the light shines to me. Allow the darkness up enough for the people that really come for them, for they who who else can have that for the feeling? You can have the sun rays and pray for it until the soul will define the starvation. Allow the communion for the daily bread for the embodied, for the feeding the hunter needs to be fed up for the federations and the adoration for the confederate and the completely compensated for the Satan star that died and dead. So you got how you suffered the last supper, eaten for that, for forgiven, who gave for forgotten, for forgetting for the revelation to reveal the pages of the Genesis. Emphasis of generations and rations of body for the water, the fish out of the bacon for the never forsaken, no stakes in the honor now, never taken. Now it's not a vain for the blood of the lamb, but the cleanness for the Satan, the hating the head, and the heaven, that will worship, but the never sinking the countertops and dish out that's insinuated for the living, and for the distracting, for the elevating. 11 genetically is segregated for the constipated, for the constitution, the bill of rights, and what's a third eyesight, and senses of the infinite dimensions, and never the dim depth of the consolation and illumination, the foresight, forgiveness for forgave, and past tense of those who aren't born again, and no. What we newborns and what the occupation that occupies the heaven gates like the Bill Gates at the windows of his faith, the computer for the complication, the imply, the implicate, representative for the donating for the replication of the reply, the screwdriver for the nail, the gods and doves, the duel, the carpenters and unions, the sun, love, the unison for the unity of the robes and white doves, devil wrangles the eye, the storm for the tormenting for the tornadoes and age of the nose, over knows how many speaks the truth, and no truth for the nose, anything for the about what God has showed the truth to be revealing with the deceit that will be unveiling. Daniel's trumpet blows a jazz, music of what's good is enough for the talisman for the beast surely, understanding the seven seals and wonderful moon. Emotionally affect that for the ocean and Eva believes that beaver, river to the conundrum, to condemn all those dams and give it to the tree for the living, for the saving, from the stretching limbs and branches and inches and measure for the sure. And during the headlights and those adore, deers the vehicles of the frightened hands wrong. Spirit with no idea for the blinding and enslaving the use. The senses are not center for the enjoyment, for the meant to be joy, for the only to fire that and unemployment for the political economy, for the biodiversity, the wedges and the hinderings of the Lord. So for the suffering and implode that for the unemployment, for the deployments and mass, man, plotting, robbing, and environment, destruction and constructive, for contrast and recovery, ecosystems and systemic for the oppression of open should look under the chairmen and charity, organization for the organ donors of the deprivation for the demons and demonstrated for the demonstration for the good. Democrats, this be the rats and can't underestimate the dyslexic stars, which manipulated for the humans and minds, mannequin, many times before for forefathers and then links to Abraham, free slaves when changes suppress conditions and nations are all weak by the Romans imposed and weak.
Finding out the situations in life that eyes can't see or understand. Where you want to go, for there's a light that shines deep inside of yourself with the illuminates the darkness to take control, which is just placed for to embrace. That makes us completely for the universe to hold. Rhyming first, not to knowing where you're gonna go. Good word you come back to for the getting off of where you left that sound beginning. For the ending of the weak stars and gods that meet the weak. For the far out that can be strange enough. For the response to complete strangers as a responded in content. Contentment and contention. For the contemplated, for the confidence that's been contorted. For the keys of the been ignored. For the truth, the lies, amnesty, generous marriage, returning cheats and reality checks. Cash is maintaining what somebody you're chasing has. Answer for the culture, for the bargaining. Chance to ask you to dance again. Should you call this year the song? Or do the cabbage patch looking to cherish those eyes and move over so gently for the pride? Pocket of the soul for the heart pinned up in your buttoned up sleeves and the next to the weekend. For the couple of years experience with the sun and the rain, light and illuminated for the dance hall altogether coming along. Moments a day, your time, always spent from beginning as she is my shadow for the breeze and oxygen to look for the dreams and joy for yourself for the couldn't take away the life for the light meant to be enlightenment for the excitement and love that can you heal, touch your spines and send you all tongue tied with the wash down and vast air for water toes and tender nature, waterways, the goodbyes and good stays and good times and good days, to the good wine, for the good burn, for the little faded weight of into the darkness and where you exist and all that matters. You can make me a part of your love, shining for the even the blind to see. Open the blinds and allow the lightning, whatever meant to always be. In the pursuit for the enlightenment, whether you are a son or you are, lift up in your heart for the wisdom is right against you, the center of attraction. Unexpected charging your crystals in the distance and illuminating for the moon rocks, and you can find a complete harmony for the elements and the feeling of love for the feeling of falling, and for you for the this to be the better feeling for the feeling of sleep, a dream again, a brand new flower. You have the branding for the partner that has that for the to be stranger's land discovered but has no ownership. Be lost with the light, a house to bring that shore for without the nature, for the lamp cycles, the mentity to medicine, for the neglection, for the light, for the you can be divine, yeah, like thick seed and black obsidian. Prime meridian for the this to be the moon sign equation, compromising the equators for the divided net for the list divine, all over gift for nothing, over the remembering the connection of reflections and mirrors of the sunset provides an ignorant delay for just another expression for the questioning and the need that for the image of protected, unfortunately outside the changing how.
motema nakosenga na yo mama mpona nini ata makoli nakobanza yo limelanga natia yo elembo na motema uta mokolo ya liboso bozalaka na maya mabe awa ngo adama mwana moke susi na ngai kaka yo adama soki amerika ezalaka pembeni nde tokutanaka na yo ata mbala moko na poso po tosala peti ya bongola yo motema nakosenga na yo